Thank you. Okay, next, allow me to present to you our guest speaker for today. He graduated the Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering in University of San Agustin in 1999. He is a consistent Dean's Lister in college. He is a registered civil engineer. He is a certified enterprise quality professional, Lean and Six Sigma. He has a master's degree in engineering education, major in civil engineering. He is a group manager for facilities at WNS Global Services. He became a college professor at AMA Computer College in 2000 up to 2005. He is a college professor in University of San Agustin from 2016 up to now. And he is also a pollution control office area head of the WNS. He is a certified Bosch safety officer.
Okay, how's my mic, everyone?
It's good, sir. It's good.
Sir.
Am I projecting my screen now?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we'll start. Okay, so this is disaster and emergency preparedness. Okay, so last week, actually, I'm supposed to have my my class in materials, but unfortunately, because I'm still attending a training on loss control management, I wasn't able to do so. But that training actually, part of the training includes discussion on disaster and emergency preparedness. So it's very timely, That's why, when Gab asked me to do the talk, Marco, let's do the disaster and emergency preparedness because currently, there are several disasters that we're experiencing all over the country. All right, and as an engineer, as a civil engineer, we should be at the front line to address these disasters by our engineering expertise and engineering controls. Okay, so later on, you'll learn several engineering controls on how to address, how to mitigate the disasters and how to prepare for emergencies. Right? Okay, but the first question is, what are we preparing for? Okay, what are we preparing for? Okay, so according to CREED, or Center for Research and Epidemiology of Disaster, or CREED, the Philippines was the most disaster-prone country in the world for the past century. No, kita yung pinakamaraming disaster, for the past century. Why? Actually, I've already discussed this previously, because we are located in the typhoon belt and the ring of fire. That's why we experience at least 20 typhoons every year. We also experience several earthquake. Okay, we also have volcanic eruptions. Okay? We have landslides, etc. Okay, because of our geographical locations. Okay, if we're going to see the disaster risk profile of the Philippines. Okay, so according to the World Risk Report, Philippines was ranked third as one of the most disastrous countries in the world in the year 2013. We ranked third. Imagine, diba? Out of several countries, we ranked third in the disaster among the countries that experienced most disasters. Okay, again, this is due to our geographical locations along the Ring of Fire and the typhoon belt. Okay. So these disasters do not only result to physical injuries, di ba? Daming tinamaan, no? Physical injuries, no? Sugat, something like that, no? And material damages, no? Destruction of properties, but also it gives psychological harm to the people who are hit by these disasters. Okay? Last 2020, no? Philippines was ranked 9th again, no, ara man ta Japon sa top 10. We're still included in the top 10 as the worst, as the country who experience worst disasters. Okay, so we have to prepare for this. Okay, we have to prepare. That's why there are several trainings being held in disaster management. No? Even the government is preparing for several for such incidents. Okay, okay, as you can see here, Philippine is at the typhoon belt, no? Uh, in an area in Western Pacific Oceans where 1/3 of the world's tropical cyclones are usually formed. Okay. At the same time, these storms are very intense. No, if we're going to compare this in other storms, no, in different country. Okay. Kaya nga siguro, no, they call it hagupit ng bagyo, no, probably because this storm came from the typhoon belt, right? Also, we are located in the ring of fire. So on average, we are experiencing 20 earthquake a day. 20 earthquake a day, we're experiencing that. Okay? But some of this earthquake cannot be felt. May tremors, but we cannot felt. So it's very slight. And 100 to 150 earthquake are felt per year. Imagine, no? 100 to 150, hindi natin alam. No? But this data, no, galing to sa PHIVOLCS. No? So we're experiencing 100 to 150 earthquake that we can felt every year. Then there's also a surprise no, volcanic eruptions. If you can still remember, right? Prior pandemic, pumutok yung vulkan. Diba? So, wala pang pandemic, the people in Luzon, in Manila, are already wearing masks, no, because of the effect of volcanic eruption. Okay, all right. So, as you can see, that's the reason why we need to have this talk, why we need to prepare for disaster and emergency. Okay, just to give you, no, the effects, no, of these disasters. These are the phases of recent disasters in the Philippines. You have Typhoon Odette, okay, that happened in December 16, 2021. Although in Iloilo, we're not that affected, no? But if you can see, no, the effect in other places, no, in other city, no, it's very devastating. Okay. We have also the Bohol earthquake in October 13, 2013. Okay, it occurred. Okay, the magnitude actually, no, was recorded at around 7.2 in the Richter scale. Okay, it affected the whole Central Visayas region, Bohol, particularly Bohol and Cebu. 222 were reported dead, 8 were missing, and 176 people were injured. And more than 73,000 structures were damaged, residential, commercial building, etc. Okay, it was one of the deadliest earthquake in the Philippines in 23 years since the 1990 Luzon earthquake. Okay, I'm not sure, no, kung buwi na kamo siyang 1990, but I think I was in first year high school during that time. No, that earthquake in Luzon was also felt in Iloilo. Okay, and most of the damages were in Baguio. No, dumudamo ka building nagkalatumba. All right. For the Bohol earthquake, on top of that, on November 7, where there's still or just 3 weeks after the earthquake, Typhoon Yolanda struck the region. No, if you're living in Bohol, no, dumadulaan ka na pag-asa, no, disaster after disaster, no, but they recovered, no, several years, they recovered, no, just to give you, no, look at the church, no, that was damaged during the earthquake. Then when we did the trip, no, last 2019 for batch 2020, nakayon na. Okay, I took the picture of that church, no, kita nyo kayo na. All right, so that's how Filipino recover, no, from disasters. Okay, then this one is ozone fire that happened March 16, 1996. This is on the top of the list as the worst fire incident that happened in the Philippines. Okay, the casualty is around 162. Okay, it should be a day, a night of fun and celebrations for more than 200 plus young people. No, because this happened in March. No, so those who went there to party are mostly students. Recently, our students will be graduating or graduated. Okay, but unfortunately, no, um, a fire incident happened, no, and the casualty is 162. Okay, they said that there's several issues with regards to the fire exits, no. That's why, no, as an engineer, you have to be very particular in how your floor plans will be planned, okay, and how your built structures will be constructed, okay. So because of this incident, no, nagkaroon tayo ng requirement sa Bureau of Fire. Okay, so may certain width, uh, hallways, no, certain number basis na kailangan before they can approve the occupancy of the building. But unfortunately, no, most of our implementations are very, very reactive. No, we only act if there's an incident. No, pag wala incident, wala man. All right. So anyway, so this is the one of the worst fire. This is on the top of the list of the worst fire incident that happened in the country. Okay. First, we have to identify what is a crisis, what is an emergency